Greetings from the Washington State Capitol. I'm State Senator Scott White from the 46th Legislative District. Thanks for watching my latest video update. We're starting to shift gears this week at the legislature after passing through the first round of deadlines for bills to be voted out of committees. And this week, the majority of my time will be spent on the Senate floor, where legislation will be taken up for debate by state senators. Several of my bills made it through committees and are on their way to the Senate floor. For example, my bills preventing the victimization of homeless individuals, establishing a Native American Heritage Day, tightening regulations for limousine drivers, and eliminating phosphorus pollutants in lawn fertilizer. Those are all still moving through the process and may be considered on the Senate floor this week. I'm also extremely pleased to tell you that my bill to provide a local funding option for King County Metro passed out of the Senate Transportation Committee last week and will also move to the Senate floor. This bill, Senate Bill 5457, gives King County the option to assess a local congestion reduction fee in order to fund transit services. While this is by no means a long-term funding solution, it would provide millions of dollars for Metro Transit in the short term at a time when revenue sources are down due to the economic recession. Another priority bill of mine that is also gaining momentum in the legislature right now is Senate Bill 5253, a land preservation and urban growth management bill that would provide cities with a new financing tool to conserve potentially hundreds of thousands of acres of working farms and forest lands in King, Pierce, and Snohomish counties. This is one of my top priorities this session because it's an innovative way to create jobs and jumpstart our local economies, while at the same time maintaining the incredible landscapes that define the beautiful Pacific Northwest. Last week, I had the opportunity to meet with several constituents and advocacy groups who visited their state capital over the President's Day holiday. It was a busy day on Monday, as many folks who were off work or out of school came to Olympia to participate in the democratic process. I was honored to speak to hundreds of college students who were in Olympia to advocate for an affordable and accessible higher education system. And it was great to see so many young people engaging with their government. Unfortunately, our colleges and universities are facing deep cuts at a time when they can be a key part of the solution to lead us out of this recession. I also addressed a large crowd of workers who are here advocating for protecting Washington's social safety net. Now more than ever, we need to ensure that those who need help have access to critical public services. And these comments about higher ed and our social safety net lead me to the biggest issue we are facing this session, which is, of course, the state budget. Now, while I'm pleased to report that the Senate has been able to approach our work on the budget in a bipartisan manner, you also need to know that the deficit and the looming budget cuts are very real. Looking at the current fiscal year, the House and Senate recently reached a compromise on the early supplemental budget that would make an additional $242 million in reductions. This agreement reduces some of the original proposed cuts to K-12 and higher education and minimizes the proposed cuts to the Department of Early Learning. The Disability Lifeline will remain viable for the end of the fiscal year, with medical coverage preserved and with a reduction of the cash grant by roughly 42%. We also were able to retain the basic health plan instead of eliminating it as the governor proposed. We were able to do this by imposing more stringent eligibility requirements. Other programs we were able to preserve include cancer screenings, interpreter services, adult day health, and the truancy program to keep our kids in school. This early budget action was a key initial step in addressing the budget deficit, but we still have a lot of work to do as we work to balance the operating, capital, and transportation budgets for the next biennium. If you are interested in trying your hand at balancing the budget, then please visit my webpage for a link to an interactive budget calculator. Finally, I would like to remind you that your 46th legislative delegation, including Representative Kenney, Representative Frocht, and myself, we will all be hosting a town hall meeting at 12 noon on Saturday, March 12th at the Meadowbrook Community Center. This is a great way for me to hear from you about your needs and your priorities. As always, my job is to represent you, and I would love to hear your stories and perspectives. I hope you will be able to join us. That's all for this update. Thank you for your interest and engagement in the process. As always, please contact my office with your thoughts on any of these issues. Thanks again, and take care.